Of patients admitted to hospital for diabetes stands at an average of 2.2%. This is significant when compared to other illnesses such as hypertension, heart disease and stroke. Minister Spencer says these figures clearly illustrates that compared with other chronic non-communicable diseases, a significant portion of Jamaica's health budget is channeled into treating diabetes. According to the 2008 Healthy Lifestyle Survey, there are approximately 150,000 Jamaicans with diabetes presently, and that number is increasing. The health minister says this will have serious implications for individuals, families, communities, and the health sector or economy. He says the country must now more than ever find ways to reduce the prevalence and incidence of these diseases and the burden that they place on the health system. To that end, he says a more concerted effort is being made to focus more resources on educating and empowering the population, to increase effective actions and change habits and behaviors towards maintenance of good health and daily self-care of chronic diseases where appropriate. Those are the stories making the news today. For more information, please visit our website at www.jis.gov.jm. Stay with us. Jamaica Magazine continues. Thanks for staying with us. It's time now for a recap of the Prime Minister's weekly happenings. But before that, the FSC Minute.
Welcome to the FSC Minute. I am your host, Nadine Newsom. Today we explore issues related to insurance, and my guest is Leon Anderson, Senior Director of Insurance at the FSC. Welcome to the FSC Minute, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Nadine.
A term we often hear about in insurance is deductible. What is this, and how does it apply to me as a policyholder?
The deductible is the portion of the claim that the policyholder pays. This amount is usually stated in the policy contract as a percentage of the sum insured or as a flat figure. The insurance companies will only pay claims in excess of this amount.
I lost my motor car in a motor vehicle accident, and the insurance company paid me $237,000, although the insurance was for $250,000. The insurance company has refused to pay me the full amount so I can purchase a new car. Why is this?
An interesting story, and a very important feature of insurance is a term called indemnity. It means that an insurance company will not compensate a policyholder in excess of the loss in value suffered by the policyholder. In this case, the motor vehicle apparently was insured for $250,000 with a deductible of 5%, hence the payment of $237,500.
What is the average clause and how does it work?
The average clause is usually found in policy contracts in respect of property insurance, which includes houses and buildings, and it limits the payment to a policyholder in terms of, in the case of a loss, to the proportion of the value that is lost. The Insurance Act stipulates that where this contract is included in the policy contract, the insurance company is obliged to explain to the policyholder the nature and effect of the contract. If that is not done, then the clause is of no effect.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
You're most welcome, Nadine.
My guest today was Leon Anderson, Senior Director of Insurance at the FSC. For the FSC Minute, I am Nadine Newsom.
Hi, and thanks for joining us for another in the series Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Now, it was a week which saw the Prime Minister giving explanations about sudden resignations and dismissals of top government workers. But as you will realize, Mr. Golding also took time out to foster greater partnership within the region. At the recent ministerial meeting of Latin America and the Caribbean on integration and development, Prime Minister Bruce Golding called for further interaction among persons in the region. He adds that although important, collaboration and joint action are not sufficient to meet the goals of integration.
It is a tragic irony of our relationship that although we are neighbors, we remain to a large extent neighboring strangers. Our people encounter each other far more in faraway places than they do in our own neighborhood. Successful integration must be undergirded by easy and frequent contact among our people.
Against this background, he says travel within the region must be given special attention along with an exchange of culture, tourism and sports. An action plan has been drafted to, among other things, increase trading activities, alleviate poverty, encourage food security, sustainable development, natural disaster mitigation and climate change. And speaking in Parliament on Tuesday, Mr. Golding sought to give an explanation about the sudden dismissal of former BOJ Governor Derek Latibadiere. Mr. Latibadiere's basic salary stood at over $11 million annually, but he could get an increase in line with public sector movements or by incremental adjustments based on his performance. As such, his basic salary as of October of this year was just over $14.5 million. That figure significantly increases when the former governor's housing allowances are added, prompting Finance Minister Audley Shaw to seek to renegotiate Mr. Latibadiere's contract to no avail.
The compensation package for the governor would now amount to $38,363,360 plus a fully maintained car, entertainment expenses, medical and life insurance, guaranteed pension and all other benefits to which non-contracted service employees of the bank are entitled. Research shows, Mr. Speaker, that this package exceeds the compensation package for the chairman of the Federal Reserve Board of the United States.
In moving forward, Mr. Golding says a new contract with more appropriate terms will be drafted for the incoming BOJ governor. He also sought to assure Jamaicans that the departure of Mr. Latibadiere will not interrupt IMF negotiations. And the Prime Minister also commended former Commissioner Rear Admiral Hardley Lewin for taking steps to rid the force of police corruption. This follows the sudden resignation of Mr. Lewin. The Prime Minister also stressed that the incoming police commissioner will have a significant challenge on his or her hands.
No commissioner of police can be blamed for the crime that is plaguing us. But it is the job of the commissioner to mobilize the police force and all the resources at his command to bring the level of crime within tolerable limits. He cannot do it alone. He needs the support of the government. He needs the support of the entire society. But ultimately, the responsibility to lead and organize the police force is his. And he, like the Minister of National Security, like me, and like everyone who leads, must be held accountable.
And with that, we conclude this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Andrea Chisholm. See you next Monday right here on Jamaica Magazine for another recap.
As was mentioned earlier in the news, the JIS launched its corporate and operating plans on the weekend. The launch inspired the production of a feature on the development, role and future plans of the agency. Up next, a look at the past, present and future operations of the Jamaica Information Service.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Radio.
We'll have cargo uploads and house matters in our features package.
And now the news, I'm Kevin Clark. Research and publications. television.